You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show with the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. We don't have any new callers today, and it's obviously not necessarily after dark, but these are unique circumstances with the draft, so I want to try to sneak something in early to get a bunch of these calls in before the Packers make their picks. So without further ado, Garrett.
Hey, Ryan, it's Drew from Green Bay.
Oh, I'm sorry, Drew.
I was just playing with the draft simulator a little bit, and, in one of them, I did like a different board, and Ty Simpson fell to the Packers in the second round at 52. And what I thought was interesting is Pittsburgh picks right next to it, right behind us. And so I thought like maybe the Rams would want to come up from 61 and jump the Pittsburgh and then find their replacement for Stafford eventually. And I think that's a pretty reasonable circumstance. And so basically what I did is a swap on the second round, and then we trade our fourth for their third. And so we move up from 120 to 93. And then I did just a second and third round mock draft where I wanted to do something different, so I got Jake Golday because he can stuff the run and cover quite a bit. And with losing Clay, I thought that maybe we want another linebacker. And then that was at 61. At 84, I went with Rutledge as a guard, and I just completely ignored cornerback, where I got Barham at 93. And he's also really good at stopping the run. And I think that's a way to improve the defense and the offensive line, but not doing it through cornerback. And then you can pick up like a Demings, or there's Muhammad or somebody later, someone that falls. And it'd have to be the fifth round. Now, Will Lee was there because fourth round, we obviously wouldn't have a pick. So I don't know what you think of that, but I thought it was kind of a cool little thing that might be actually realistic. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah, so with all the calls, I don't really want to go through pick by pick. So I'm sorry that I'm probably not going to be as in-depth as I typically would, but suffice it to say, there's obviously a lot that makes sense there. I know Will Lee is extremely popular, and a lot of the guys that you mentioned are guys that we've talked about, and we'll see what happens. It is interesting you mentioned the Rams and Ty, because that did happen, but he went at 13 or something to the Rams. The question now is, are there any other quarterbacks? And it matters because quarterbacks are high leverage, right? It's, if a guy needs a quarterback and you've got a spot and you want to move back, but there's not a lot of quarterbacks. There was talk about Carson Beck possibly being a first-round pick, that he's not getting out of the second. I think a lot of that was BS. Maybe he goes in the second, I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see, first of all, if the Packers want to move around. I stand on the fact that I do not want them to trade up. If anything, trade back. The more swings, the better. I want more guys to look at, more guys to watch, more guys to get excited about, more swings. Statistically, it just makes more sense. I don't want to give up picks to move up. But if you got to do what you got to do, then you got to do what you got to do. But anywho, I appreciate the call in. I'm excited that the Packers get to pick today, and hopefully we can talk about some of this on the stream. I know I don't always make it easy on you guys, but if you guys watch out for links I'll be sending out. I'll be on hopefully YouTube, Facebook, whatever. And then, again, there will be a website you can go to if you want to interact, comment, whatever the case may be. So hopefully I get to talk to you guys tonight. Uncle Rico.
Yo, Ryan, it's your Uncle Rico.
What's up, dude?
Hey, broski. I'm late on the pod, running late on the pod. Anyways, last night I was listening and I was kind of worn out. So I don't even know who the guy was, but he was saying how the Packers have destroyed their season and their future, and because of not one of the call-ins, some guy you were repeating stuff he was saying, some nonsense he was saying, and he was using real big words, and I didn't like it. So I don't like them. I mean, yeah, a big word here and there, but using all the big words. Yeah. Like, what are you doing?
You're compensating.
Trying to analyze football, and dude, this isn't like big word. This isn't a big word sport, man. Right. Go away. Anyways, that's not why I called.
It's a fake word sport, in a way, and I guess what I mean is, we make up a lot of our own big words in football. We have terminology and we have our formations and we have our own kind of language. But as far as like using big person smart words, like you said, once in a while, throw a little nugget out there to be like, hey, I'm a learned fellow. But then, let's bring it back.
Oh, this morning for me, you're talking about brat recipes.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty, I, for the most part, will boil my brats in beer and then cook them on the grill.
Sure.
But I think some places, they pretty much think that's illegal. Like, is it Sheboygan area or something?
Sure.
They got some rules, and I think the pan frying is the rules.
Really?
Like, they have signs up here and there, like basically, if you boil your brat in beer, you're a criminal. Anyways, I didn't have time to look into it. I'm driving here, but the very best brats I've ever made were just plain brats, not flavored at all. There's a gajillion different flavored. I think flavors. I think we talked about that before. One time I called in, and there's a local place here that makes like a bajillion flavors, and one of them has Skittles in. They kind of get wild. Anyways, the very best brats I've ever made, I boiled in beer with a boatload of garlic.
Okay.
And I cooked them over a campfire, wood, campfire. And those were the best, the very best. I don't always have time or a good place to make a campfire, that's for sure. So, a charcoal grill, I'm sure, is better than a gas grill, that kind of thing. But the campfire, that was it, man, to die for. All right, then. Rico has got to go before he times out. Y'all have a good day. Rico out.
Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned before, I don't boil in beer. That's not like it's not a, sometimes I will pound the table for no, that's not the right way to do things or whatever. It's not one of those. I will accept that is sort of the way to do it for most people. Most of the, you come to Wisconsin, ask anybody how they do their brats, and it's their beer brats. That's how they do it. In fact, you can buy beer brats, I think, which I think I have. I don't know. I should do that. Anywho, that is the way. I love brats. I think they're freaking delicious. They're almost nostalgic because we never really had brats, especially growing up in Illinois. I mean, you don't eat brats. We never grilled very much. We certainly didn't grill brats. So when I did, it was usually coming to Wisconsin, which is usually a vacation for me. And usually it's at like a festival. Like, I don't think Grandma really made brats. We had burgers and like barbecue chicken and stuff on the grill, which is like a gas grill. Yeah, brats were usually like we're going out somewhere and doing something at a festival. So it's just got a special thing to it. So for me, yeah, just putting a brat on a charcoal grill is just absolutely. I have no qualms with that whatsoever, and I don't put stuff on my burgers, my brats, my hot dogs, nothing. So just the pure flavor of a frickin' brat is fantastic. But could I, step it up a little bit with some pre-soaking or campfire or whatever the case may be? Probably, but I'm pretty content as it is.
Ryan, I think we have one of our first ding 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 episodes where you can say on a classic throwback Saturday, you can say on this date, on this call, came in and we had a caller make a pretty memorable criticism or description of another caller. I'll leave it at that. That whole episode was pretty darn funny. Have to say that was one for the ages. So you can definitely put that one down, Ryan, as a call that you can on this day a year later. So it got me thinking the demographics of the people who call in, and we got. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there have been in the history of the show, there's at least 3 people who call in that are mailmen, who have said that they're mailmen.
Pretty
Andy
wild,
from
right?
Kansas, myself, and another caller that I want to say, either he was in Rockford or Naperville area, but he was also a mailman. So there's 3 mailmen. We've got 1 trucker, 1 janitor, 1 fireman. We have a Beer Cheese Benny, who is basically a landscaper for a golf course. Correct me. Sorry, Beer Cheese Benny.
Something.
I don't know exactly what you do at the golf course, but coordinator. We'll just call you the coordinator of golf course.
CEO of golf coursing.
And I'm not exactly sure what Miko does in Idaho. Either he raises llamas, raises chickens,
farmer,
or owns a karate dojo. But it would be kind of nice if everybody would call in and say what they do. That would make an interesting show. So there's that. So, anyways, just it got me thinking after that phone call talking about 1265. I hope Ryan, is 1265 the only female caller that we have right now? We really, really don't want to lose that call.
Yeah.
So I'll just leave it at that. I'm out.
Yeah, we had, I'll say others. I'm trying to think. At least one. There had to have been a few others. I'm only remembering one. But, well, no, I do remember a couple now. But more, not super return callers. But look, like you said, there is a demographic. And, there's a demographic of football generally, but there's a demographic. And the these things tend to be self-serving or like a feedback loop where even if you were a female, it's like there's probably a feeling of like, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be my kind of thing, considering it's all guys talking guy stuff for the most part, being guys and talking about things they probably shouldn't. No, that was a great episode. It took me a minute to figure out what you're talking about. I'm like, oh yeah, that was crazy. And it is funny because, like I've said on the show, there seems to be themes all the time. Like somehow it's almost like you guys call and are like, let's do this today. Let's talk about this topic today. And it's not even just like the news of the day, which would be obvious. It's just certain topics that just like, how do you guys all talk about the same? Well, that day, whatever day that was, a couple days ago, was Let's Be Wildly Inappropriate Day, I think. So that was great. Randy in Minnesota.
Hi, Ryan. It's Randy in Minnesota. Apparently, I just can't put on your shows anymore without reading a little bit of the information before the show. I had to pull over. I was laughing so hard after last night's Packernet After Dark. That was so damn funny. Yeah, that was a very interesting show, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. That really made the day go by really good. But it's hard when I have someone, when I'm taking care of someone and I just start busting up laughing. They look at me like I'm drawing a third eye or something. But anyway, just that got some Packer information. I don't know if you have read it, but it was in Fansided. Evan Williams' comment about the team and about the end of the season and how the team is in the process of they hate Chicago, they hate Johnson, Williams, and that it was a wake-up call, and I got it. And the way he described the feeling within the team and then bringing in the two veterans, I foresee pain next year for the Bears.
Yeah.
When they play Green Bay. I think this team is really going to, from the way Evan Williams out, is really going to circle the wagons and be ready to go and put a hurt on them after the shenanigans from last season. And I'm filling up time here a little bit. This weekend, I'm going to do a tri-tip. My wife surprised me with a Ninja Flex Grill, which I can also use as a smoker. So I'm going to be doing this tri-tip. I got the rubs and the base set up. I'm going to work on that and get that going. And I'm looking really forward to seeing how that goes. I've never done one before, so wish me luck. Anyway, that's all I got. Go Pack, go. Bye.
Yeah, I only did a tri-tip once. Something I'll have to try again sometime. It's not super common out here by us here in the Midwest. More of a California thing as far as I understand it, or a West Coast thing or whatever. But it was good. It was solid. As far as the rivalry thing, I do think it's good that, I think they need some kind of a wake-up call in regard to that. Obviously the Bears came in, as they always do, they came in super hot. Part of the issue, though, is it seems like the Packers maybe weren't at, like, they talked a good game about it and whatnot, as far as, like, hating the Bears and all that, but it didn't feel as, like, deep in their bones as it did for the Chicago Bears. And part of me wonders if they started, the guys like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae and some other guys that were around for a long time. You heard Randall Cobb when they did that little meeting thing, they were talking, and somebody made a comment about the Bears beating them or whatever, and Randall Cobb passed the microphone. He's like, I'll have to pass it to him because I don't know what that's like. They never did that to us when I was around. And, there's a couple things come from that. Number one, it is somewhat shameful. There is a pride that comes in that, but it feels like the Packers today, the young Packers, take that pride, and it's somewhat unearned pride. They don't, and it's not to say that Evan Williams hasn't beat the Bears. Obviously, he's been a part of it to some degree, but not to the same degree. For him, it's a much more even rivalry. So, that's something that needs to be taken seriously, that we don't lose to the Bears. That's something that guys like Randall and Rodgers and those guys, for whatever reason, like, it's just, we don't lose to that frickin' team, and we need to take that seriously. And there needs to be that feeling of however good we are, we're way better when we play the Bears, because it feels like it's almost been the opposite, especially this past year. But you can even go back the year before where, we put one of our worst games of the year at the end of the year against the Bears. We're pulling our guys and we're doing this or whatever. There just isn't this intensity of, no, we're going to smash this frickin' team. And I know some of it's circumstantial with guys being injured and whatnot. But we gotta come into this year with a different energy. Okay, we'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Ryan, I just have a real quick question for you. If Nico takes the no homo RX, does that mean that Ben Johnson ain't his hoe no mo?
Yes, I don't know what else to say. Yes, that's what it means.
Okay, I have another question.
Okay.
So, is it just me, or is everybody thinking that 1265 is probably at the courthouse right now getting a personal order of protection against Uncle Rico?
Yeah.
And if she is, does that mean his call has to be 500 feet away from her phone call?
Yeah, you're asking me a lot of stuff, dude. I don't know. I don't know how that works exactly. I just hope that I'm not somehow involved in that, which I'm sure I would be, but I don't know, man. Y'all occasionally get me in a little bit of trouble. That's all I know.
This is Jared Schrader, Texas.
What's up?
And I just finished doing the nightly dog walk. But, so I just listened to the last Packernet After Dark, and weird thing happened toward the end where your audio cut out for a little bit. Were you telling a story that you weren't supposed to tell? No, okay. But yeah, funny story about 420. I have a dog named Blaze, and when I first got him, this was like, I don't know, this was about 12 years ago, so I was like 20. And so I would send my picture, or I would send a picture of him to my friends at 420 for the first few days I had him, and say, Blaze it. But I have never actually partaken in that. The closest I've done are edibles, and not even with weed, but like with Delta 8. They have like a Rainbow Rice Krispie one. Delicious. But anyway.
I don't even know what that means.
That was before I became a father anyway. So anyways, back to football. I don't know if you've talked about them because I've had to kind of listen to the podcast on like almost 2 times speed for a minute, and then sometimes whenever I was putting my daughter down for a nap, I would pass out while listening. So I don't know if you talked about him, but this guy had all a sleeper for like his size. The 6'7" linebacker from UCLA, I believe. His name's Eric Gentry. That would be crazy to have on the team. Could you imagine the wingspan of this man?
Yeah.
And like special teams, blocking kicks and stuff? Just saying. You never know. Anyways, go back there.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about that in a while as far as like traits for linebackers. I remember it used to be much more of a thing. I think it was like Bernardrick McKinney. Was it Mississippi State or whatever? One of the big assets for him, if it was him, was the guy just was super tall. And you'd look at his highlights or whatever, and it's like he's just constantly batting down passes, and he's up in people's faces, like even across the middle. There's just so much area coverage. So it's just funny that you mentioned that because I haven't really thought about it or heard anybody mention anything like that since that time. And that would have been a long time ago, back when, probably when I first started doing this kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, again, without going super in depth on prospects today and whatnot, I'm just ready to get excited about something. I'm ready to draft somebody, go through the first couple minutes of like, because that's not one of the main guys. It's funny. One of the things I was supposed to do, but I didn't do because it's like, let's just wait until after the draft and do a podcast. But my final sort of podcast was going to be if this year was last year's mock draft. And essentially how it works is you look at the team needs last year, and then you look at what we picked. And I think the way we picked was like our second biggest need, and then our fourth, and then our second. And we didn't pick our first biggest need until like the 7th round pick. And when you do that, you go through and you look at the names, and it's like, these are not names we've been talking about. I feel like we've talked about everybody, but I think a lot of it is we talk about the same guys a lot. And I think there are a pile of guys out there we just have not really mentioned hardly at all. And we're going to draft a lot of those. So bottom line is we're going to draft them. There's going to be an initial like feeling of sadness because that's not one of the guys that I've been talking about, that we've been talking about, that we basically said you're allowed to draft. We told you who to draft and you drafted this person. And so there's sadness because we're going to let some people go right past us as we draft other guys. We're going to look at PFF and it's going to be like, that's not impressive. But you go through that for a little bit and then you get into getting very, very excited and finding out what it is that's cool about them. Like, oh, I don't know, they're 6'7" and this, that, or the other. So, yeah, I'm excited to get excited.
Hey, Pack Daddy, it's Garrett on Southern Illinois.
Yo.
Hey, I wanted to address the whole Dexter Lawrence trade to the Bengals and how that can have a ripple effect to Green Bay. I guess Slater is now basically dispensable. Sorry. And could possibly be one of those guys that maybe even gets cut. And all in all, like, I wouldn't be disappointed if Green Bay went back out and signed him to a 1-year deal just to be someone who can fill the gap. So, I mean, it's technically possible. I know that they probably would wait. I'm guessing they would rather draft somebody that, you know, they'd have for 4 years and could develop. But, I don't know. I was just wondering what you thought when it comes to someone like that had played for Green Bay. Would they maybe consider going after him?
Sure.
Just giving them a little bit of insurance policy for that position, and in case they don't get the real guy they want to get in the draft. So just was curious what you thought about that scenario. I'm out.
Yeah, well, you phrased it exactly right. I mean, the first step is let's see how the draft goes. If we end up getting that guy, and there's a lot of them in the draft, doesn't mean we like them or that we're going to get them. Maybe, you know, there's only a handful that we like, and we're not really going to be able to get those guys or whatever. We'll see. I would guess that they do, but if they don't, that's where it would be time to kind of ask those questions of, all right, I mean, not just that position, all the positions: cornerback, running back, linebacker. Well, not really linebacker because we kind of addressed that already, but whatever positions we didn't necessarily address as far as especially recent or immediate pressing needs, things for this year. That's where it would make sense to start looking at and going, okay, we need something here. I know he said they feel good about the team today or whatever, but doesn't mean you can't reconsider some of the other guys, you know, because there's probably some prospects, like he said, like Slater, where I like the idea, but let's see if we have a better option that comes to us in the draft. And then if not, then it's time to start picking up the phone. So yeah, that is going to be an important thing. So immediately after the draft, you got the UDFA frenzy, the undrafted free agents, all these guys, bunch of really cool prospects that we're going to be able to look into, dig into, et cetera, over the next few weeks. That's going to be a fun thing. But also, yeah, there is going to be sort of a, let's see how many spots we have open. Let's see what our biggest needs are. Let's see who's out there. And Slater and other DTs are definitely guys to consider. Garrett, number 2. Oops. It's funny, I just said Slater, and then I read what you said, and I'm like, yeah, I was wondering why it sounded weird in my head.
Okay, it's been one of those days, Ryan. I apologize. I was actually talking about TJ Slater.
I know who you meant. I
think
know
I
why.
was saying Slater.
Yeah.
Man, my brain is just in another dimension right now.
I get it.
So, TJ Layton.
Yep. That's freaking weird. I mean, I think it's more embarrassing for me than you. Like when you first said it, I was like, "Who? What are we talking about?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah." And then I just went with it. Like it didn't. Never in my head was like, "Oh, he means Slayton," and I'll just correct it and it's fine. Nope, I just freaking an idiot.
Yo, Brian, it's your Uncle Rico. How in the hoochie macooch are you?
Oh,
It's
no,
Wednesday.
Don't start.
Tomorrow the draft begins.
Don't even start.
Life begins anew. Anyway, I don't know if my call will get played because, the draft.
I got you.
Things might get skipped that are unimportant, like the reason I'm calling. I was driving. I had to go to the gas station, so I had 5 minutes to look up the pre-boil controversy, Sheboygan stance. Many traditionalists in Sheboygan consider boiling raw brats before grilling to be a mistake.
Okay.
They argue it leaches out the flavor and spices, resulting in a gray, bland sausage.
Sure.
Nobody likes a gray, bland sausage.
No.
Food scientists and purists note that boiling can cause the casing to become rubbery and the meat inside to turn mushy. The post-grill...
I will say I can't speak to that, but it is nice grilling a brat and getting a nice snap. You know, you bite into it and it just pops.
Bath. The authentic Sheboygan method typically involves grilling the raw brats first to achieve perfect brown sear, then moving them into a warm beer and onion bath. The brat tub to finish cooking and stay juicy until served.
Gotcha.
It's a thing. I don't know, dude. The before after, I think you got to try them both ways. Got to do the side by side, same brat, same beer bath, same grill, and the before and the after. See what happens. But either way, it's a brat. You can't really go wrong. I mean, you could run over with your freaking car and cook it on hot black top, and it would still be good. Maybe. I'm thinking, all right, then. The Packers are going to, I don't think they're going to move up into the first round. I don't know. Not a thing. I'm thinking that they're going to pick something that rushes the passer.
Okay.
On the edge, or a linebacker, or a edge rusher. Not the same position, but a defensive end that rushes the passer, or a linebacker. So that's what Uncle Rico is thinking. Other than that, the caller roulette thing.
Yes.
I've never played caller roulette. I'm so excited. I didn't even think about it. Caller roulette says that it's going to be Nico. It's like a Rico, but better, because he's Nico, and I'm just Rico. All right, then. Rico out.
Well, I mean, it's probably about time to clear the air and just admit what has probably been obvious for a while, and I can't be the only one, but I mean, I do get Nico and Rico confused constantly, but no, it's not. It's TJ from Alabama. Good try.
Hey, Ryan. Listening to the pod, and Uncle Rico is actually, I'm not sure if I did that well enough or if I even got the right caller. Sorry. But hey, no, you were going on your mini rant for a wide receiver.
Sure.
Not a classic rant, just a mini one.
Yep.
And you convinced me. I was never in the camp of the second or third, day two that we're picking a wide receiver. I was never in that camp, but I actually was in the camp of we are taking a wide receiver in the draft. I was thinking more like 5th or 6th round, pick up somebody to see if we can develop, somebody with tools that we can develop, yada, yada, yada. But even with that, you convinced me, partially because there's only so many draft picks. I mean, we got 8, and we may or may not end up with 8. I kind of think we probably won't end up with 8, that we'll either trade down and pick up another one, or I think it's possible Goody trades up. Not to Seattle 32 or anything like that, but if there was, throw a 5th and move up 3 spots or something, do I think that's going to happen? No, but it's in a possibility. So a long-winded way of there's only so many draft picks, and I do absolutely believe, and I think Goody, again, being the tallest midget as far as being honest with us, as far as GM-wise, I think a nose is highly likely that we get a nose, a pure nose kind of thing. I think it's highly likely that at least one cornerback, but probably 2. Then you throw in, quarterback, development, again, not round 2 or 3, but somewhere along the line there. And it just starts eating up draft picks. We always seem to draft an offensive lineman, and I would still like to draft an offensive lineman. So you start getting where you end up with like 2 picks left,
right? And
with a basket of wide receiver, running back, tight end, and a few others, and you're just looking at it and saying, hey, clearly we can't pick them all, but whatever the best player is in those rando positions that we don't have an immediate need for, then boom, it very well could be wide receiver. It very well could be running back. It very well could be tight end. And tight end's probably more of a need. But, all right. So long-winded way, Ryan. You laid it out. You made a good point. I agree. Wide receiver is not a short-term need, never was. And it's really not even a long-term need. Go Pack, go. Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, Again, I don't want to overstate any of these things either. I wasn't trying to get everybody completely off the train necessarily. It was just, I felt like the urgency was a little higher than I could understand it. I just didn't fully understand what the heck everybody was talking about, and I kind of just laid out the case as to why I was confused about it and why I don't agree. But I certainly wouldn't be surprised if they take a receiver. I would borderline be surprised if they didn't at all. And I say that just because, there are 8 picks and, stuff happens, it's maybe 55, 60% chance. I don't know what the freaking math is on it, but my guess would be, like you said, mid to late round developmental guy would just be kind of a guess. If we took a wide receiver round 2, would I be shocked? No. Maybe slightly surprised. And again, not because it's like, I think they're opposed to it. Just, because I just feel like based on the fact that we are going to draft probably a little bit more need based. I don't want to have to go through the whole need thing again. You know my position on how needs and whatnot work, but I would assume there are going to be options available at bigger needs than wide receiver is the reason I would say that I would be a little bit surprised for no other reason than that. But no, it's certainly possible. And look, it's part of what I was talking about before, where you're going to be surprised. Things are going to happen that we have sat here and we've done a million mock drafts and we've done all these things. And we feel like we know exactly how it should go, and it's not how it's going to go, So, we need to expect to be surprised. So on one hand, I'm saying we don't need it and we shouldn't be expecting it and we shouldn't be pushing for it. On the other hand, I'm borderline saying expect it because it's kind of the unexpected. I know that doesn't make sense. Okay. I fully understand that. Have we taken a break yet? I don't remember if we've taken our second break. Let's just do it and see how it goes because we have 4 calls left. So we'll take a break. We'll be right back. Can I just say, by the way, the amount of calls we had, I'm very proud of myself for getting to every single call. Very proud of myself. So here we go.
Hey, Ryan, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois. It's Thursday morning, day of the 2026 draft, and I'm just calling in to call my shot.
Okay.
I'm going to say that first round, they are definitely going to pick a defensive back. Second round, I want to guess defensive end or defensive tackle. My hopes are that they pick at least 2 defensive backs, maybe even 3 with, the free agents, UDFAs. So I'm pretty sure that we can just sit at home and enjoy, no stress tonight, just watching other teams maybe pick horrible players so that all the great ones fall to the Packers tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Have a great draft day. Talk to you soon.
Well, there you go. We'll see how it goes. Certainly wouldn't be upset with that result.
Go, Pack, go. It's Uncle Rico
yo
calling on draft day. It is draft day. Where's Chris Berman? Anyways, Ryan, I know you haven't watched Draft Day yet, the movie, but you still got time to squeeze it in before the draft starts.
I'm kind of busy.
Just do it. It's amusing and amazing at the same time. I love the movie Draft Day. I don't know why you won't watch it.
I don't know.
You hate me. You don't trust my instincts. Anyway.
That's not it.
Think the Pack's going to move up into the first?
Nope.
I don't think so.
I would bet a lot of money right now.
It'd be wacky and wild. Excuse me, I just had a burp because I ate some mozzarella sticks.
I don't need to know that at all.
Mostly it was the marinara sauce, I think.
Okay,
anyways.
That's fine.
Sal's pretty jacked up about the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But if he talks any more about the Lions polishing their rod, he's going to have to re-rate his show, at least to like PG-13. All right, then. Go, Pack, go. Draft day!
Can always count on you, Uncle Rico.
Yo, Brian, it's your Uncle Rico.
Yo.
I haven't got done with work yet, so I haven't attempted the live stream. So that's when I get home, buddy. Try it out. I don't know how to do that, but I'm going to try. Anyways, I just wanted to comment on the running back getting taken. Jeremiah Love, is it? Getting taken the 3rd pick. Isn't that kind of crazy? I mean, I've never thought that. Wasn't it like a year ago or 2 years ago that running backs have zero value in the NFL? Right. They're not a high value position.
Well, I still think that's correct, which is why I think it's stupid. I mean, I'm not opposed to like Bijan. I think Bijan's a good player, but has he transformed the Falcons? No. Does anybody give a crap? Like, does anybody go up against the Falcons and are like, oh, no, we have to go against Bijan Robinson? Nobody says that. Nobody cares.
And whatnot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that was the thought process. And now all of a sudden, they're worth the third pick.
Yeah.
Wild. All right, then. Rico out.
I mean, which you never would be, but I mean, if you happen to be in a position where you're really solid, you've got your quarterback and you've got, your defensive line all sorted out and you've got your offensive line sorted out and, you've got your core kind of figured out. Yeah, it would be a great piece to add on top. The Cardinals have nothing. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have anything. So what is the point of this? I mean, I guess I understand if you want to say, look, it's a terrible draft class, and in a terrible draft class, just take the one blue chipper. If that's your argument, I guess that kind of makes sense. But even still, when you look at the cost, you're paying him top of market as a rookie. So you don't even get that sort of cheap contract. At least if you get a pass rusher, what is the expectation? You're paying pretty decent money for a pass rusher, but you're not paying him to be an elite pass rusher. You're paying him to be a mediocre pass rusher. So the distinction is still there. I don't like it, and I don't think I would do it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I don't think I would be interested in doing that.
Hey, Pack Daddy, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois.
Yo.
Well, the first round is in the books, and my summary of how the night went was yawn, but I did listen to your live stream for a little while. I wasn't able to figure out how to make any comments on it stuff, but did listen to you guys all the way through the first 15 picks.
Appreciate it.
And I guess a few things I could say from listening to how everything went. I'm sure there are a lot of defensive backs signed a little bit of relief when the Vikings didn't pick them. They're probably calling their mom saying, hey, you can cancel that insurance policy now. I heard Caleb Williams got a little butthurt when he started hearing Chicago chanting, he's the man, to the guy that got drafted, not realizing that's kind of how they pronounce his name. So anyways, looking forward to seeing how tonight goes, and hopefully this call doesn't get skipped. I'm okay if it does. But looking forward to seeing what Green Bay does tonight. I'm out.
Yeah, well, we got her all cleaned up. Sorry for anybody that called after 1 o'clock. It looks like you probably are going to get skipped, but just hang in there and wait until after the old draft there. I'm going to post it. I might as well post it. Well, no, because whatever. I'll post it kind of soon. Wait until after at least the first draft pick. To get your calls in, and then we'll go over all that good stuff tomorrow. But yeah, I will put a link to where the stream will be. Again, you can watch it on hopefully YouTube and Facebook like yesterday, but to interact and everything else, because I built the ability to do a lot of stuff where you can vote on who you think is going to get picked, et cetera, et cetera. Go ahead and join that link. Colin and I are going to, if nothing else, hang out today. And we're going to gauge how it goes, because day 3 is a 7-hour slog. It's an absolute freaking devious thing. So, if it's just kind of me and Colin hanging out and maybe a couple people lingering on YouTube or whatever, we'll probably just skip day 3. If the crew shows up and we have a good time and everybody wants to kind of do day 3, then we'll do day 3. Again, kind of like most things, it's up to you. I'm going to put this out there. Is this interesting? If the answer is no, the answer is no. If the answer is yes, the answer is yes. So doesn't hurt my feelings either way. I mean, I think it's fun if we all hang out. I also would love to just relax a little bit and be able to do podcasts and live breaking updates and everything as we make picks or whatever. So that will be up to you. I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.